Hello and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. We start with Google, which has revealed what we Googled the most in 2022. And as a hyper online person who's up to date with the news cycle, I think these searches pretty much nail it. Here's what sparked interest in the past 12 months. What started as random green and yellow boxes popping up on your Twitter feed ended being the most popular search on Google. I'm of course referring to the viral game Wordle that had a hold on many of us this year, me included. Next was the World Cup semi-final cricket match between India and England. Then obviously the war in Ukraine that has affected millions in one way or another. And the death of Queen Elizabeth, who reigned for more than 7 decades. And as many expected, the person who sparked most curiosity was Hollywood celeb Johnny Depp. The defamation case between Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard had tongues wagging and interest peaked. Who can forget when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars? I, for one, am guilty of talking about it more than necessary. And of course, Russian President Vladimir Putin, the attack on Ukraine threw him into the spotlight even more than in previous years. Gone are the days when we watched something without research and reading some reviews. The most Googled show was HBO's Euphoria, followed by The House of the Dragon from the same stable. Marvel's Moon Knight was the third most popular. I haven't seen that yet, but the TikToks I've come across have been interesting, to say the least. Let's get more info on our collective search history from self-confessed Wordle addict Melinda Nucifora.
I'm sitting here at the bus stop waiting for my daily commute through what can feel like an interminable amount of traffic. And this should be one of my most frustrating times of the day, but it's not, because it means I have uninterrupted time to do my daily Wordle. And it turns out I am not alone. Wordle was the most searched term on Google in 2022. There are countless social media accounts specifically dedicated to the word game. One such account, called Wordle Stats, is simply a collation of the day's Wordle results, and it tweets it out to more than 24,000 followers. That's how popular the word game is. Now, Bronze on Twitter wrote something quite interesting that made me think. She said, "My favorite thing about Google's Year in Search 2022 is the inference that everyone was cheating at Wordle." Now, when I read that Wordle was the most searched term, I assumed people simply weren't bookmarking their website and were having to search for it again almost on a daily basis. But perhaps people were searching for the answers. It's interesting food for thought, and I think it's going to generate a lot of discussion around the water coolers and across social media. Now, Fortune magazine also made an interesting point. They tweeted, "So far, 2022 has seen a war break out in Ukraine and the death of the world's longest serving monarch. But when it came to search engine queries, the world was more focused on Wordle." It may be a sobering assessment, but perhaps it's simply evidence that in a year dominated by bad news, we all needed to give our brains a break and focus on something else, even if it is just during our daily commute.
And guess which fashion brand was most searched on Google this year? Was it controversy-ridden Balenciaga, fast fashion favorite Zara, or its competitor H&M? Nope, it was Shein. The Chinese fast fashion brand has attracted a lot of controversy in the past year for its terrible work conditions, unethical business practices, and enormous environmental impact. But Google says Shein was the most searched brand in 113 countries in 2022. Take a look through TikTok, and the platform is full of Shein content, whether it is endless hauls and try-ons or the controversy surrounding the brand. Drama aside, Shein's appeal is its extremely low prices, as many shoppers grapple with rising costs. So while some actively try to avoid fast fashion and focus on sustainability, it's a luxury not everyone can afford. The online retailer recently announced it'll spend $15 million upgrading its hundreds of factories in China after a Channel 4 documentary exposed its harsh working conditions. Some staff were found working 75-hour weeks, only taking 2 to 3 days off a month.
Remember this? When people were getting help messages from Shein workers? We couldn't confirm the validity of these images, but they did spark internet speculation into the conditions of Shein factories. And this undercover investigation proves our worst fears, that Shein workers are exploited horrifically. Let's talk about it. In one factory, workers are paid roughly $500 a month to make 500 items of clothing a day. In the other, workers are paid about 4 cents an item. Both factories only give workers 1 day off per month, and workers cite consistent 18-hour days. One worker clocked in for work at 8 a.m. and said he wouldn't be leaving until 3 a.m. This news is horrifying, but it's unfortunately not surprising, because it's literally not possible to sell clothes for $2 and make it $100 billion profit without exploiting workers. You cannot list 6,000 new clothes to a website every single day humanely. What's extra terrifying is that this system of exploitation is highly successful. Shein makes more money than Zara and H&M combined. This means other companies will be incentivized to adopt Shein's exploitative business model. But the consequences extend outside of fast fashion, because Shein is creating an industry-wide expectation of exploitation. Take Amazon Prime. Before the service, it was acceptable for packages to deliver weeks after purchase. Now, we're mad if our order takes more than 2 days, to the extreme detriment of delivery drivers. The same can be said for Shein. By making cheap garments available, Shein is devaluing the labor of fashion.
Twitter has had a chaotic 6 weeks since Elon Musk bought the social media platform for $44 billion. His sweeping changes to the site and laying off nearly half of the company's workforce are part of what he calls his extremely hardcore vision of Twitter 2.0. And now he's introduced some physical changes at HQ that frankly raise a lot of questions about the hours that Twitter's remaining workforce is being forced to put in. Since Musk's takeover, Twitter has turned some conference rooms at its San Francisco office into sleeping areas complete with beds. Since the tech giant sacked thousands of employees, it no longer needs as many meeting spaces. It's even reportedly installed a washing machine for staff to wash their clothes. City officials are now investigating possible building code violations over the changes at Twitter's HQ.
City officials say they need to make sure the building is being used as intended. And Musk's response claimed he was helping tired employees, but then went on to change the topic to an ongoing narcotics crisis. Just days into Musk's Twitter takeover, the director of product management tweeted about sleeping on the floor, hashtagged sleep where you work. And after receiving criticism for the post, she wrote, "I love my family and I'm grateful they understand that there are times where I need to go into overdrive to grind and push in order to deliver." But other staffers aren't so happy about sleeping under the eyes of Musk. Forbes reported one staffer said it was another sign of unspoken disrespect and that the beds just showed up. What do you guys think? Would you hashtag sleep where you work?
Nope, I definitely would not hashtag sleep where I work. Let's be real, it doesn't sound like Twitter currently has a healthy work environment. But despite all that bad press about its lack of work-life balance, thousands of people still want to work for the company. Twitter has posted up about 30 new job listings on LinkedIn, and there are thousands of applicants. The new job postings come just weeks after the company axed 3,700 employees. That's almost half of its workforce. Elon Musk had also given an ultimatum to remaining staff to commit to long hours at high intensity or quit. And many of them, including top execs, did indeed leave the tech giant. As part of Musk's rehiring spree, it's reported that he's brought in people who've worked at his other firms, Tesla, and his tunneling venture, The Boring Company. He's also reportedly hired his cousins, software engineer James Musk and Andrew Musk, as some sort of fixer. Well, they're not coal miners, rail workers, or truck drivers striking for better working conditions. Nope, I'm talking about New York Times journalists. Although they sometimes endure dangerous conditions on assignment, they're considered white-collar workers. Nevertheless, on Thursday, they walked off the job for the first time since 1978. 90% of the newsroom, or about 1,100 staff, didn't clock in to work. And they're asking you to give up your favorite and most Googled pastime, Wordle. Beyond that, they want better pay, including a basic salary of $65,000 a year. That's in addition to more flexible work-from-home rules and better health insurance. They've been in negotiations with management for months, but neither their union nor their bosses have been able to reach an agreement. And they've gotten support from politicians too, including Congressional Rep Jamal Bowman.
Peace and love, everyone. Tonight at midnight, 1,100 journalists from the New York Times are going to be going on a 24-hour strike. Do not cross the digital picket line. Let us stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who are walking off the job in protest to make sure they earn the wages they deserve.
But what is a digital picket line anyway? Well, it's like a regular picket line, except it happens online. And here's what some New York Times union members have to say about it. Culture critic Amanda Hess urges Times readers to break their Wordle streak if they have one. And the union considers Wordle a villain in this story, since the Times shelled out millions for it while not offering employees raises. The workers also emphasized that they did not come to the walkout decision lightly, but felt it was a last resort for themselves and their colleagues. I don't know about you, but when I heard German police had prevented a plot to violently overthrow the state, including an armed attack on parliament, I thought this is the stuff of fiction. A movie, perhaps, or a best-selling novel. Add to the mix a 71-year-old prince called Heinrich XIII, Prince Rhys von Greitz, a retired military commander, attempts to get Russian backing, and an ideology inspired by QAnon, then the plot certainly thickens. But no, police arrested 25 people on Wednesday in several dawn raids across Germany. According to Die Zeit newspaper, one of the arrested plotters posted on Telegram, everything will be turned upside down. The current public prosecutors and judges, as well as health departments and their superiors, will find themselves in the dock at Nuremberg 2.0. Sarah Nani, a politician for Germany's Green Party, posted on Mastodon, more and more details are now coming to the public that make one doubt whether people were smart enough to plan and carry out such a coup. The fact is, no matter how crude the ideas are and how hopeless your plans are, even trying is dangerous. All right, what's one question I keep overhearing today? To watch or not to watch? Everyone is talking about Harry and Meghan's new Netflix documentary. We all love some scandal and would love to know what really went on within the palace walls. The trailer, speaking of leaking, planting stories, and a dirty game. Some say the first 3 episodes is something of a damp squib. Others say the series exaggerates actual events. Love them or loathe them, Netflix is bound to cash in on viewers. Sarah Morris shares the mood in London.
Well, look, it's a super slick production. It's endearing, it's dramatic. We get Meghan crying within the first few minutes. We also get basically a glimpse into the Harry and Meghan love story. So they met on social media, they stealed away to Botswana for a week of camping early on in their relationship. We get glimpses of the children. We get an idea of what home life is like in the US for Harry and Meghan. Meghan feeding the chickens and picking flowers. But I think the main theme so far of these first 3 episodes is that the couple feel they were hounded by the media and that the royal family did not do enough to help them with that hounding. And Harry says when he asked for some extra protection, the feeling within the royal family was that all new royals get hounded by the media, and what makes Meghan any different? Why should she be treated as a special case? Harry went on to say, well, because of race. He also went on to say that there is an unconscious bias when it comes to race within the royal family. Meghan spoke about her shock at how formal the family is and also about a challenge challenging first meeting with William and Kate. Netflix is billing this as a global event, but here's a bit of what Brits have had to say so far about the documentary.
I guess it's an institution in the UK, right? So I don't know. They're welcome to do whatever they want to do, but I'm not really sure it's the right time for them to do it. But let them live their lives.
I think it's about time that the royals have actually got a voice to say what they need to say and get it across to the people that think everything is, what's the word I'm looking for? Everything is cool and dandy, and it's not.
I don't have anything against the royal family, but it's just not for me.
Look, in a way, I think Harry and Meghan are probably pitching Meghan as the new Diana, the new outsider, who can't escape the clutches of the paparazzi and the press, and who's not getting the support she needs from the royal institution. But I would say I don't think there's been any major bombshells dropped in these first 3 episodes, but there is another 3 episodes to come next week, so there is still plenty of time for scandal.
Not sure I'm going to watch that one. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Find us on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. Bye and see you same time tomorrow.